Welcome back to Cast Burgers. This is your host Eli Halpern. Today we have a very interesting interview going on here. We got Sheldon Stone from Texas, who is a friend of Mike Eaton actually, and he was one of the cameramen on not on the Tiger King documentary, but for some of their past projects. I've spoken to him a little bit. We're gonna find out a lot. I've asked all of you to give me your questions, and I will be asking all of them. And they're all terrible questions. You're disgusting people. But I give you what you want, all right? That's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm trying to do over here. All right, now, first of all, I'd like to put on the record I had this mullet before I knew Joe Exotic existed. Mike will be joining us in a moment here. We're going to be Skype calling Sheldon briefly. And enjoy. Boom. All right, we're here with Sheldon Stone and Mike Eaton. Mike, how did you set this up?
So I met Sheldon in community college when I was in Texas, and we met in geology. Like we were talking about this when we started the call. Like we literally just walked up, started talking to each other, and so that's how I met Sheldon. And I posted a joke about Tiger King on Facebook, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I worked there." I was like, "Get the fuck out! You got to tell people about that."
Yeah, dude. Tell us everything.
I worked for Joe in 2014. I was the chief editor and technical director on the TV crew. I'm also the star of his water bottle commercial, which I know I sent to Mikey.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I'm grabbing the girl's ass.
Yep.
Yep. But yeah, so I was there for a lot of it. I left a week before the studio fire.
Oh man.
So
what was the story with that? What do you think really happened? Who do you think did it?
If I had to guess, honestly, I'd think Rick Kirkham, because he did haul ass out of there right after that.
Yeah. Do you think that so his defense of that was that he wouldn't have burned it down because all of his money was tied up in the TV show, and that's where all the footage was?
Man, all that would have been tied up would have been Joe's money, because he was the one that was paying for all of
it. Yeah. So that makes sense. And you said, also, did you know that those gators were Michael Jackson's alligators?
I did not. But here's the thing with the gators is John Finley, the guy you see without his shirt a lot in that.
Yeah.
His nickname was the Gator Man. They don't talk about the documentary. He loved those gators like most people would love like their dogs. Those were his babies.
Oh man.
So he was devastated when that happened.
Did he ever wear a shirt?
Yeah, all the time. The only time I've seen him shirtless is the documentary.
That's so awesome. Oh, that's crazy. So how did you get involved with Joe Exotic and all them? Like, how did you get?
So right after I finished my associate's degree at community college, where we met, I got it in broadcasting, and I was looking for work. I'm like, man, I got my degree in the field. I want to go to work. And I saw a posting on Craigslist saying, hey, come work out at this zoo, $300 a week, and provided on-site lodging and utilities and all that. So why the hell not? And I went out there, and I met with my predecessor, whose name is Mark Miner, who was actually working on a documentary before this guy that did Tiger King, before Eric Good. And I really wish they'd have talked to him and the cameraman that was there the longest, Nico Marchetti. He's a friend of mine too. He was actually my roommate while I lived and worked there.
Oh, cool.
They have way more insight than like Rick Kirkham or any of them, because Rick had been there about 2 days maybe before I showed up.
Oh,
and
wow.
Rick hired me.
Gotcha. And you said that Rick was drinking like the whole time?
Oh yeah, he drank 140 proof rum pretty much every night, about 5 to 6 hours a night probably. And he would be so drunk or hungover the next morning that he would always just beg me. He's like, just tell Joe I'm doing this, that, or the other, and I can't come in. Here's the keys. Go open up.
Questions? You want me to keep going?
I like where you're going with this. You've seen more of it.
Yeah. So what was it? I mean, what was it like working with Joe?
So when I knew Joe, here's the thing with Joe. Joe knows how to talk to and present himself to people. really well. Like if there was ever a master manipulator in that department, it's Joe. He would come in and he'd seem like, so in the staff meeting, he'd be talking to his animal handlers and that, and come off like the biggest dick boss in the world. And then, we'd get to work in that, and he's the nicest guy in the fucking world. He'd come in, he's laughing, he's joking, he's having a good time in my office. I'm like, hey, Joe, this is what I'm working on today for you for the broadcast tonight. He's like, cool, I like that. Keep going with that.
Do you feel like anyone was misrepresented in the documentary?
Yes, a few people. Eric Coey, the zookeeper you see with the long hair a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I knew Eric, he was fresh out of the Navy. He was actually a former U.S. Navy chef. And he used the most delicious food on the planet. This comes from a fat man.
Yeah.
And he used to make the most amazing food, tell the best stories. Again, nicest guy on the planet. He collapsed one day from exhaustion and dehydration during the day in the park.
Wow.
So, but
I was like running all ragged.
Yeah.
I mean, what was like a typical work day?
Well, it depends on who you asked. For me, it was I worked a 60-hour week. So I would work for about 10 to 12 hours a day, depending on the week. And I would get up at about 7:30 in the morning, go brush my teeth, get dressed in that, and I'd walk across the parking lot into the gift shop, which was also the back of it was the office. Joe would have a staff meeting for everybody, and then we'd all go out and do our thing. So for my editing team and I, we would go straight back to the TV studio and hunker down, and that's where we would be until lunch. Go to lunch, and then we'd go back to work, and then Joe would come in at about 3, and I'd set up the live broadcast for the night, and he would do his Joe Exotic TV. And after the broadcast, he'd sit around, we'd talk for a little bit, and then he'd go back out with the animal handlers, and we'd start setting up stuff for the next day as far as what needed to be worked on in that, and dump the footage from the cameras. The camera people, he always had a camera person with him at all times.
Mm-hmm.
So we had rotations, so every night he had a camera person with him all night. And all day he had somebody following him with a camera.
So I assume Joe was fucking at least one of his husbands. Like, was a camera person around for that?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
My
porn could have been profitable too.
Right?
my one roommate, though, Joe wanted to make that husband number 3.
Ooh, tell us more.
He was always flirting and touching on this guy, wanting him to, he really wanted to turn him.
So he was just going for, so did he like try and trick these straight dudes with meth or just?
I'm assuming with John, it was the meth. With John, it was definitely, he shows you the guns that Joe bought him in that and the trucks. Travis, I imagine it was a lot of the same. He's a young 19-year-old kid, and here's Joe throwing all this free stuff at him.
How much money do you think Joe was worth at the time, or he was making?
That's a hard guess. Because because he always had people booking for the tours, for the gift shop, for the play times, that people always spending money in the gift shop. I never saw the books personally, so I couldn't tell you how much.
But he was well off, I assume?
I would guess so. He always had, top of the line pickups and that. And he had his tour bus.
Yeah.
And what was the impact of meth on the group? How much were we doing? How often?
So I wasn't around to see, I never saw any of them actually doing any meth or anything. Actually, it's kind of funny that it turns out that was a problem because, I would go into town with Joe and that because he needed stuff, and he'd be like, oh, you guys come with me, whatever. And he'd be like, yeah, if it wasn't for my business, this whole local economy would be ran by the meth labs and the dealers.
But instead, they're just helping me run mine.
Well, he came off as very anti-meth and anti-drug. That's what I find funny about all that.
Oh, that's interesting. So like with all the like extra Walmart meats and stuff, is that what the guy was cooking? Like, was that like what you were fed? Like you got just extra Walmart meats, or?
So, to my knowledge, I never had any of that. I never really ate any of the food at the park because we would all go down to Walmart and buy our own groceries and that because we lived there.
Did you eat the expired meat?
No.
Who is that reserved for?
That would be the people, I guess, eating at the pizzeria and that he opened later on in the park. So, like the guests and that, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's great. Did you get to play with the tigers?
Multiple times.
Yeah.
How was that? What was that like?
Fun. I mean, they're like little cats, man. They just want to play and be loved.
That is insane. I would love a pet tiger.
Do you think Joe is a top or a bottom?
I'm gonna go with top.
Yeah, I would.
All right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But like, I don't know.
Do you think they ever got sexual in the cages?
No.
Do you think there was any bestiality going on?
No.
Really? You don't think he like one time fucked a tiger?
No.
Oh wow. Well, I wouldn't assume a grown one, but I don't know.
I mean, if he did, that would definitely be consensual.
Right? Because
You would get murdered.
We told a bunch of people that we were going to be having you on the show, and like the number one question we both got was like, "Did Joe fuck a tiger?"
Not to my knowledge.
Damn.
Were you there when Joseph killed himself?
Or
were you
Travis,
around?
or whatever.
No, that was after I left. I knew Travis when he was alive.
Yeah, Travis. I got the name wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. But he used to come into the studio all the time, and he was just the happiest, biggest goofball you'd ever meet. Sweetest guy in the world. Never, they talk about he'd pull guns on people. Now he never did that to us. He'd come in, he'd be singing, his favorite, he'd come into our office and he'd start singing, my back, my neck, my pussy, and my crack. that was my favorite.
Did you work with SAFF?
No. She, from what I understand, well, if I did, I didn't really notice it. Let me rephrase that. Because I know she had gotten her arm taken off before I got there. Because the guy that I replaced had the footage. There is footage of that.
Can you get that?
No, I don't have that. And I don't even know where the guy is anymore. When I showed up, he left to go teach in the Indian Territory in Oklahoma, and he just dropped off the grid.
Wow.
So he's got the footage of Sappy getting her arm torn off in that.
Also, you sent me a bunch of cool footage that you had from that time. Do you want me to post a link to that in this video when I upload it?
Sure, go ahead.
I think people would like to see that.
Yeah, because one of the things you did on there was the Carol Baskin investigation.
Yes, I produced that and aired it, yes.
Do you think she killed her husband?
I think he's in the septic tank.
You think he's in the septic tank?
Oh, really? You don't think he was fed to the tigers?
No, I think he's in the septic tank.
Really?
Why not the tigers?
I think the tigers are too obvious for her.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like if he was in the septic tank, they would have gotten a search warrant by now.
Well, I mean, they don't have
Didn't
probable
they
cause, and
didn't they completely like bungle the investigation, right?
I mean, they wouldn't even check the meat grinder either to see if he did get fed to the tigers.
Wow. So do you think Joe was set up in all of this?
I don't know, because I'd imagine he was off his rocker enough between John leaving him and Travis killing himself that he might have done something crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he went from having all these people around him that loved him to just being completely isolated like that.
Well, who's that guy that was like, did I set him up? I don't know. Is hiding a camera and recording and
Yeah, Jeff Lowe.
Yeah, that sounds
Did you
like
ever meet
setting
Jeff
him up.
Lowe?
No, he came onto the scene about a year after I left.
Gotcha. Okay. So what was the impetus for you leaving? Were you just like fed up with the tigers, or?
No, so one night we get done working, and I'm at home, and in my trailer it was myself, my roommate, who was one of the camera guys. We had the one female camera woman that was our roommate, and then we had Rick. Rick was in the master, and Rick and I are sitting outside, and he goes, "Look, man," he goes, "I'm firing you in 2 weeks, and I want you to spend the next 2 weeks training your replacement on all the broadcast equipment." I'm like, "Fuck you," and I packed up and left that night.
Hell
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's a good reaction. So when SAFF in the documentary on Netflix, when she gets her arm taken off, by the way, I think that was the craziest part of the whole thing. She was like, oh, just another day of work for me. Went back 5 days later. I was like, what the fuck? All this gay meth stuff? That is the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Hey, you're kind of covering the camera a little bit there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So when she got her arm bitten off, I had some people notice that Joe had his paramedic jacket on almost immediately. Is he just like always prepared for that, or does he have that nearby, or what's?
So here's the thing with Joe that they don't discuss in the documentary. Joe actually used to be a county sheriff in Texas. So he actually used to be a responder.
Oh.
Yeah, he was the youngest appointed sheriff in the state of Texas.
Holy shit.
That's awesome.
That's big news. You're hearing it here first, folks.
Yeah.
That's probably where the jacket came from, I'd imagine. But always had something like that around and ready to go.
He's just like, I'll be right back.
So were you there for any like real injuries or like any like bad stuff going on?
So I was there. 2 of the zookeepers collapsed from exhaustion and dehydration. There was Eric that I told you about, and there was another guy there, Bill, who you see in a couple shots in the gift shop. He's the heavy-set brown-skinned guy with the ponytail.
Yeah.
Or I guess man bun in that. But yeah, he went down too. And then one of the other zookeepers, they were feeding the cats one day, or they were working on a feed chute, and the lid came up, and the metal lid came up and busted his head open.
Ooh.
That was the worst stuff I was there for.
How was your living situation?
It was actually not. It was nicer than my apartment now, probably. Like that I feel like got a little, from what I experienced, was a little over embellished. Because I was in, so the trailer you see Alan in at the end, where he's got like the jacuzzi tub in that's the one I lived in.
Nice.
That's the suite in that trailer.
Oh, we should have interviewed you in the jacuzzi tub.
But yeah, it was. But yeah, it wasn't bad at all. We had a full-size kitchen, washer dryer. I never had any issues with it. I don't know what the hell Rick was talking about. No, my only issue was we had carpet in the bathroom.
Oh God, nightmare.
Yeah.
Urine city.
More like wet feet from shower, but.
Oh yeah.
But
oh yeah. That's actually a lot. That's actually way worse.
Yeah.
A couple of dribbles.
I know how to aim my dick.
Liquid.
But I do know a couple of the animal keepers, they had flea problems, which I guess you could expect that almost with what they did. They were around these cats 20 hours a day. Someone's gonna come home with fleas. And then the other one is, I know they had raccoons living under one of them.
Crazy. What's like your favorite memory from there?
Probably there were a lot of days, it was just me and my assistant editor, Matt, who's been doing a lot of interviews too, actually, if you see him around on Facebook. But there was a lot of days we just sat in the office and just worked on videos and that, and we're just like, hey, does this look good? Yeah, this looks good. Can you believe we do this for a living? No. Good, neither can I.
Did you ever know anything about the Prince Albert?
No, I didn't know about the Prince Albert till the documentary.
Damn it. I was hoping you saw the padlock. I wanted to know that.
No, I didn't. Although I will say that the line he told Travis about porn and that, every guy that worked for him heard that from him. He asked me that one day. Like my first week working for him, he goes, yeah, you like, when you're watching porn, you like a little dick or a big dick? I said, man, big frothing dick. He goes, well, you're a little gay, aren't you?
Isn't that like
it's a new
old
material.
Ron White joke?
It is, and that's why I thought he was referencing that when he said that. And that's why I get Ron White.
Yeah, it's like a fucking 30-year-old Ron White joke.
Yeah.
Hey, he's a comedy fan.
Yeah. See, Street Sweepers.
Oh yeah, they're really doing it out here.
So I figured they would be shut down during the apocalypse, but here they are, sweeping
right.
streets.
Yeah, what do we need streets for? We're not going anywhere. We
I
don't
saw
need
that.
roads where we're going.
speaking of that, I saw in the news today that Doc Antle's place is still open during all this.
What? I would. Oh, he seems like the most interesting person.
Yeah, he seems like a maniac. He has 3 women. That one guy was like, "You don't need to teach me how to train these animals. Teach me how to train these women." I was like, "Yeah, man." He had 3 like pretty good.
What?
I said, dude's got a fucking harem.
Yeah.
How did you spend time with him?
No, the only one I ever met was Joe.
Oh,
Okay.
That's so cool, though. Did you ever? So it came out later that Joe did not sing any of those country songs, but like in the documentary, he tried to play it off like he did and like sings along to them. Did he ever like play his music there?
Oh yeah, all the time. Every broadcast would start with 3 of his music videos playing before the actual broadcast. He's like, you gotta play 3 of them. You gotta rotate them out every night. It can't be the same 3 in a row every night.
And how many music videos did he have total?
At the time, I had about 9 or 10 of them in the system that I could run.
So,
I guess he had 5 on top.
3. So you played 3 of the. So you played a third of them every night. He
Yeah.
was like, no, the same ones.
Because he wanted to have it kind of like a pre-show, like 10 minutes leading up to the show.
Yeah, no, I got it.
That's like MTV in like the 2000s.
Yeah. He did actually, a couple of his videos did get played on CMT.
That's fantastic.
But no, that was, speaking of my favorite memories, I remember there was one day, I'm 6'4", 380, I'm a big dude. And he decides he wants to shoot part of a new music video. And he's got us all out there. And for some reason, I got stuck with the reflector for the lights.
Uh-huh.
And here's my fat ass running across this exotic animal park with a reflector.
Can you describe what that is?
Like a big reflective disc.
On a pole?
No, like it's got handles on each side. But it's like a ring of nylon with foil in the middle.
Okay.
And it's about 2.5, 3 feet across.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, my fat ass running across this park in Oklahoma in the summer.
That's so funny. Oh man, what was the worst thing you had to deal with there?
Rick.
Yeah, just being a drunk.
Being a drunk, taking credit for a lot of the shit we did. That's what pissed me off with the documentary a lot too, actually.
Yeah.
Like, he took credit for a lot of that stuff, and it's like, wait a minute. Because when I showed up, he's like, yeah, we're going to get Joe on A&E, True TV, and that. Did you ever see a reality show? Because I didn't. And that's what he would just pitch and pitch and pitch. He had all these contacts and that. And it's like, dude, yeah, you probably did like 20 years ago when you were on Inside Edition, but yeah. And then the throne thing. So he takes credit for that.
Yeah.
That is from my assistant editor, Matt, saw the Lana Del Rey video where she's on the throne like that.
Uh-huh.
And that's where he got the idea to put Joe on the throne. That was actually all his idea.
So it was a Lana Del Rey thing.
Yes. That's what he would do in his downtime. He'd watch music videos at his desk.
That's awesome.
Did Joe ever play live music?
No.
Red flag.
Yeah, no, he refused to perform any of his songs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But he always lied and said he did them.
But he would sit at his desk. He had a news desk on the set. And when we were playing the videos before the show, we could hear it on our speakers. And he'd be sitting there jamming out.
That's awesome.
How did you feel about the way the documentary was edited?
It did its job. It built the suspense and made you ask, who did what and all that. Some of it, my wife will tell you, it's like watching it with the director's commentary with me, because I was pausing every 5 minutes, like, okay, this is what actually happened. This is what they're being dramatic about. Calm down.
Oh, that's fascinating.
What were they dramatizing?
Shit, now that you ask me that.
Both. It's dramatizing.
Like the housing situation, that it was not nearly as bad as what they had portrayed, at least as far as I was aware.
Was anyone abusive to the animals?
Not when I was there, no.
Did you get to pet anything besides tigers?
I got the opportunity to pet snakes, gators, tarantulas, bears, wolves, lions, camels.
When you started that, it sounded like it was going to be like a 1 or 2 animal answer. It was just like,
Man, you got to think of the whole list here.
yeah, that's awesome. What was your favorite?
Probably the tigers. There was a really big one there by the name of Jughead, and he was a big sweetheart. And he was a big fat boy, and I'm like, that's my spirit animal right there, because he would just lounge around all day, not give a shit.
Hell yeah. R.I.P. Jughead.
Do you think they ever drugged any of them for like I know in Thailand they'll drug the tigers, so they're just laying there and you can just pet them, and you're not supposed to do that.
I never saw him do that for the petting. They did it. The only time I saw them trank them was for veterinary work.
Yeah. Oh, I cracked up at that part where the tiger's like asleep and they're running him out in a cart. Joe's like, all right, you got 6 minutes.
He wasn't kidding either.
Yeah.
That's what they would do. The vet would come out, they'd trank them, and then they'd do the surgery on them. They'd only have a few minutes.
Yeah.
They'd mess around. They'd be playing with each other and scratch each other with their claws or whatnot, and they'd need stitched up.
Oh, yeah.
You'd have to be a NASCAR surgeon. All right, get back out there.
That was probably the most disturbing thing, speaking of the vet, is when she had animals she had euthanized, like livestock, like cows and horses and that, she would pull a trailer up to the dumpster at the back of the park, which is across the driveway from my office, and they dumped the carcass, and then Joe and the staff would butcher it and feed it to the animals. So imagine going to work and there's just a dead horse. There's just a dead horse sitting there.
Well, at least they didn't kill
First
any
time that
of
happened, I was
the
like,
animals.
what the fuck?
Excellent.
That's awesome. What I don't know, what do you think like was the biggest thing you learned from your experience there?
Definitely just be wary when you take a job like that. You know, if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
What was the biggest appeal to you when you found out about it?
Just to get
$300 a week.
Yeah, that you say that wasn't bad. I figured, man, I'm gonna be living here rent free, utility free. I just gotta buy a few groceries every week. I'll save money. The problem is the grocery store was like 20 miles away.
Yeah, and it's in Oklahoma.
Yeah, so no good beer.
Yeah, no good beer. Did you know that the alcohol up until just recently was limited to 3% for beer in Oklahoma?
Oh, wow.
So all of their beer was special beer, Oklahoma beer that was at 3%.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Yeah, it was piss water.
It is.
Right.
It was so bad that there was a liquor store in town, and we would we'd just buy liquor from them. Because Rick was
only drinking beer under 5%.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is 7.7%.
That's a good number. 2 good numbers.
Yeah.
Juxtaposed.
No juxtaposed.
At 7.7.
You what?
I said, it's too bad it's not 7.77. Then it's the jackpot.
I know. Well,
then
you
we
never
can win
know.
a new case of beer. We're drinking on a new Belgium Starship IPA.
Okay, yeah, that looks badass.
It is a dope fucking can.
Yeah, show them yours that's not crushed.
It's got like a little guy with like a gun.
I have to crush my cans after I drink them so I don't try to go back for more.
Makes sense.
Yeah, we have drinking problems. So what question do you wish people would ask you about all this?
Just like, I don't know, like, what was the experience actually like, I guess? I mean, like I said, for me, it was, it's way different from what's portrayed in the documentary. I wasn't handling animals. I worked for the idiot that took credit for most everyone else's work that I did work with, which still pisses me off. because those are my friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just there are a few things they got wrong, but they did get some stuff right, and that's.
Yeah, well, that's good.
You have any more specific people you want to call out for stealing your credits?
No,
We can publicly shame them for you.
no, Rick's the big offender on that, and it's not my credits for the most part. It's people like my senator Matt and the head camera guy Nico. A lot of their stuff he took credit for because they were a couple of creative. It was a creative powerhouse with those two.
Rick is now married and living in Sweden.
Norway,
yeah, I knew it was one of those.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe his wife's Swedish, but yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. We also had a couple of crazy questions. How much meth would it take for you to sleep with Joe?
Probably more than the town of Wynnewood had.
Okay, good answer. For $1,000, would you sleep with Carol Baskins?
I'd have to clear it with my wife, but free money is.
Yes. Oh yeah. Perfect. Yeah, we can arrange.
That's exactly what he thought you were gonna say.
I nailed it. What was the other one that we had?
Who do you think was a worse person, Joe or Carol? Or you didn't meet Carol?
I never met Carol. I helped produce most of Joe's bash pieces on her, but
Did they say how he got access to her diary?
no, I never learned that. He'd want to disclose either.
What if he just made it up? Probably
was he like
break and
really
entering.
as like insane and violent about all the Carol stuff?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The one thing I will say about Joe is the man who had to throw a 4th of July party. Because he didn't just go out and get M80s. He would get the Tannerite and and make it go boom with his guns.
Wait, he would shoot it to light it off?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you explode Tannerite.
I don't know what Tannerite is.
And so it's like the discount TNT that they have at ammo shops, so you can shoot it at a range and make stuff explode.
Ooh, can you buy them here?
Yeah.
Let's not do that. We live in California.
Yeah, we would never do such a
You
thing.
probably can't because you live in California.
Yeah.
I know people. I have Republican friends.
I'm better off getting shot with no health insurance in California than getting arrested for shooting someone else.
But yeah, no, he knew how to throw one hell of a party in that respect.
Did he drink as well?
No, I never saw him drink.
Interesting. So just strictly
Part of that because of how his brother got killed.
Joe's brother got killed?
That's who the park was named after.
Oh, I guess I missed that or something.
Yeah.
Did they discuss that?
His brother got T-boned by a drunk driver one day.
Oh, wow. So that's why it was called GW?
Yeah, it was Gerald Wayne.
Gerald?
Yeah, Garold.
That's the dumbest fucking name ever. Gerald?
Don't speak ill of the dead, Michael.
I'm sorry, but Gerald.
You act like he's got any class there, Eli.
Yeah, he knows who I am as a person. Oh my God, Gerald.
Why not Gerald?
I know.
That's what I always thought it was, but Joe always corrected me.
That's awesome.
You mean go?
No, you spelled it J-O-E. That's Joe.
It's pronounced Go Exotic. I run the JW. Oh, man.
When's he getting out of prison? 20 years?
Never.
He's in his 70s.
Wait, how long ago was that? How long
That
ago was he sentenced?
A year or two, maybe.
And he's in his 70s now?
No, he will be when he gets out. He's in his 50s.
Yeah, he'll be alive. He'll get out of jail, I'm sure.
Meth
It
does.
was disappointing to learn that he never killed anyone.
Yeah.
But the rest of the story just made it interesting enough. You never really get to look into the world of people that deal with fucking tigers.
Yeah.
That's because most of them don't like being filmed, with the exception of one. Well, I guess all three of
That narcissism will get to you.
Yeah.
You guys have anything else you want to add?
Huh?
I feel like we've covered a lot.
Yeah, I think we covered everything that I wanted to know about it. Do you have anything that you wanted to add?
No, that's about it. We covered all of it.
Hell yeah.
Sweet. Well, thanks for joining us, Sheldon.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna upload this on YouTube and tag your thing so people can get another look at what was going on there. And enjoy your quarantine. Don't eat too much.
Eat too much.
Mike's trying to get me to join the fats, and
All the donuts.
Yeah. Help me convince Eli. I was telling them.
we're going to Sonic after this.
Yeah, I was telling him earlier, this is the perfect time to become fat. He's never been fat before, and I'm trying to get him to join. So what would your words of wisdom be?
I mean, we're the Fat Panthers. You know, we go, we're here, we're fat. Hey, are you going to eat that?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Excellent. All right, take care, buddy.
All right, awesome.
You guys too.